Hey everybody, welcome back to Never Alone Homestead. My name is Cammie and welcome back to my kitchen. Well guys, I just got some fresh string beans out of the garden. Got a good little mess, probably got about 3 pints. They're just starting to come off and we've had some crazy weather here, so I had to replant 3 times, but that's okay. So these string beans came off of the plants that did survive because of the extreme weather that we had here onto the East Coast. The weather was up and down, it was hot, it was cold, the plants got confused, they didn't know what to do and some of them died. But nevertheless, I got some beautiful plants growing out there now, and so I went out there and took a look and I had some string beans. So I have 2 varieties of string beans right here. They are green and they are gold. So they're going to look really beautiful into the jars, but of course we don't all just go for looks, right? But these green beans are Landeth stringless bush beans and gold mine bush beans. Now I got these seeds from Haas Tools, and I put them in the seed cell tray and grew them up and planted them in my garden, and so they're doing excellent. Now it's a very easy process to can string beans. There's nothing like going into the pantry or wherever you have your canning supplies and canned goods and going in and grabbing something that you have canned that's fresh, that you knew you grew, and it just makes the food even seem to taste even better. I was eating some potatoes over there the other day. I just got out of my garden and I was like, man, this is better than steak. So today, guys, I'm going to show you how to can string beans. So the first thing you want to do is when you pick your string beans, the best way is take and wash them off outside. Go ahead and pick through them, make sure there's no grass in there, wash the dirt off. Go ahead and do the hard work outside before you bring it into your kitchen. Then what I do is when I bring it into my kitchen, I take and start washing these beans off again, going through it again, put it in a pot of water so that there's any dirt that's sticking to the beans, it falls to the bottom of the pot. And I do that about 2 times because you don't want dirt into your beans. And then the next step is that since these are seamless or stringless, you don't have to pull the strings off. All you got to do is snap the end and snap the other end. And the best size as far as your string bean to be snapped is about 1 inch to 2 inches. You really don't want them long like that, because if you do, then when you're trying to eat it with your fork, it gets all over your mouth. But if you snap it about that size, that's a good eating size. It's a good canning size. It goes in your jar really easy. So our next step here is you got your jars, they're already clean, they're sterilized. And what I do first is I like to go ahead and put my salt in, because I don't want to forget my salt. Now you don't have to put salt in if you are onto a no salt diet, or you can't have salt, then you don't have to put salt in. But for these pints here, I'm going to put a ½ teaspoon. Now for quarts, you're going to put a teaspoon. This is canning salt here. Now you can use non-iodized salt, if I'm saying that right. I usually prefer just to use canning salt because that's what I have a lot here. So you go ahead and put your salt in your jar so you will not forget it. Your beans have been washed. The strings, if you have strings, are pulled off. The ends have been snapped. And then you're just going to fill your jars up. And I like to kind of shake them a little bit, let them get down in there. And I like to use a funnel all the time because they don't fall out everywhere. It just makes it seem to be a lot easier. The canner just stopped. Actually, the little thing just popped out, let me know that the squash I just canned, it just came out of the garden. Also, those jars are ready to take out. So this is perfect timing. So now I can just go ahead and process these. Whoops. I can go ahead and process these. And pints are going to be done for 20 minutes. In my area, I'm going to put 10 pounds of pressure. You got to know, what your pressure is. Is it going to be 10 pounds? Is it going to be 15 pounds? I won't probably have a full jar here. And that's okay, because usually when I can, I like to open up a jar and see how things taste. Because you can't wait to get some of that good eating. So the salt's in there, the beans are in there, and now you're just going to take hot water. You take a pot and you boil you some water so you can have some hot water to pour into your beans. And then you're going to pour it 1 inch headspace. So you don't have to measure it because it's right there. It's always right there. A good debubbling technique is just to take and tap your jars down. If there's any air bubbles in there, they'll start to surface. Or you can take anything to use for debubbler, a knife, and just go in there. And this helps the beans to settle, kind of space it out a little bit. Any air bubbles are going to rise to the surface. And I don't see any air bubbles. Also, a good thing to do is when you're pouring, don't pour real fast. I'm not sure if I was pouring real fast, but I usually try to pour slow, so that's just less air going into the jar. And I don't even see any bubbles coming up. Our next step is just take a paper towel. I usually take a paper towel and put some vinegar onto it, because it not only does that help sterilize the jar, it cleans it. If there's any debris on there, but you could just really just take a paper towel or a good clean rag. And I usually keep some vinegar nearby because I'm of canning. So I was pulling the whole jug out. And then you're just going to wipe your top off. Now, since there's no grease or anything, no syrup, you really don't have to be concerned. Just a dry paper towel would do good. Our next step is that we're just going to take our lids. Now, Ball says we don't have to put these rings and lids into hot boiling water anymore. Now, I've canned enough that I never have a problem just putting them on like this. And so you're going to put your lids on, finger tight. Now these are ready for the canner. So the string beans are ready to go into the canner, but I've got to get these squashed out of the canner so I can get string beans in. So this is all right. Oh, that was hot. See, you got to watch. I got a cut on my finger that made it even more sensitive. So yeah, it's not that hot, but it's hot. So you got to really watch it. So this has gone down. And then when you open this up, you always want to make sure your head is back some and open it up like that, because you don't want to get steam burned to your face. The next step is to get these. I usually have it set next to me, but it was behind me. So here's the squash that came out of the garden this morning. So watch the video how to can squash and zucchini, because this one doesn't have any zucchini in it. And I'm just putting it onto a mat over here that I've already got prepared for it. But this one's got some zucchini into it. And they'll stay over here for about 12 to 24 hours. In just a little bit, you'll hear a ping, and the lid will seal, and they'll sit there for 12 to 24 hours. And then I'll take the rings off and label them. If, of course, with these, I can see they're squashed, dated, and take these rings off and get them washed. And they'll be ready to be put up for storage. So I opened up a jar of squash this morning. Oh my gosh, that I canned yesterday. And yeah, I canned some yesterday, 7 quarts yesterday. And these, like I said, were picked from the garden this morning. Those yesterday was picked yesterday afternoon, around lunchtime I think it was, or somewhere around there. But anyways, So now this canning pot is empty. Grab something here. It's got some water on it. So now, since this is ready for canning, but you always want to make sure that you add more water, because as your canning pot is processing, steam is coming up, and so you're losing water. So what I'm going to do, I don't have a mark in mine, so I can't look at mine and say, okay, yes, it's below that mark, I need to add it to that mark. So what I do, I just look at my water, and by looking at that, I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 quarts of water, because the one thing is for sure is that you do not want your canning pot to run dry. Your jars are going to bust, you know, it's just not a good thing. So let me get some water. So I'm adding 2 quarts of water in here. This is going to cool down the water that's left in this pot. And then I'm just going to add these string beans. Now this canner here can hold up to 7 quarts, but I've got only 3 pints here, and that's just fine. The next step is that we're just going to put our lid on, make sure the air is lining up. So the video cut off right in the process of me just saying how to put the lid on. But nevertheless, the string beans have finished processing, and this little flapper here has gone down. And so now it's time for the weight to come off, and let's see what the string beans look like. So once again, you want to make sure, because there's a lot of steam coming out, hold your head back and yeah, turn it that way. I always lay my lid good solid place. You don't want it to go rolling somewhere and breaking. And there we have it. Let me look at this one right here. So this is something I just, by seeing this right here, is that, I mean, it looks beautiful. But what I should do is like maybe pack them down just a little bit more. But for me, this will be perfect. You know, actually this would be good for 2 people. So this is actually good. But if you want to pack it down a little bit more, so because you see the little space right down there, and sometimes that happens with cannings, no big deal. If you're using to put other vegetables in, you can use that juice down there, or that water mixture right there, and that will be great. So I do know that one of these was not completely filled up. But for me, this is perfect. You know, I went with the pints because, you know, the fact that quarts would be too many string beans for me unless I was making soup or something like that. But this is actually perfect. And this is the last one. So happy about this. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to when the rest of the string beans will come off. Because this is so fast and so easy. Snapping them is fast, cleaning them up, you know, getting the dirt and stuff off of them if there's any dirt is easy. Snapping them is real easy. Canning is real easy. Such a simple process. I hope that you learned something from this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you got any comments, leave a comment below. Shoot me a text, you know, and I'll get right back with you. Share with me your ideas of canning string beans or any vegetables. Maybe you've got some ideas that I would love to use into my kitchen and maybe be able to share with others. Okay, thank you so much, and see you on to the next video. I am now heading in there to shell some garden peas because the garden peas is going in next. All right, guys, God bless you and make it a great day.